This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by CardMax Payments, the trusted merchant processing broker that helps hard-to-place merchant industries find trustworthy, reliable payment processing services. If you have a legal adult use or medical marijuana dispensary, head shop, vape shop, or online CBD or hemp product store, then you need to head over to cardmaxpayments.com to learn about how the pros at CardMax Payments can help you process more of your customers' transactions digitally. Say goodbye to doing all of your business in cash by saying hello to the folks over at cardmaxpayments.com, which is spelled exactly like it sounds. Cut down on how much cash you have to deal with and enjoy the benefits of increased transparency and security by opening up cardmaxpayments.com. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Tuesday, May 22nd, 2018, and you're tuned in to episode 495 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Kyle Yeager over at Marijuana Moment has our lead-off story this terrific Tuesday, with a new poll out of Michigan showing an electorate firmly in support of legalizing adult use marijuana. The poll was commissioned by a prohibitionist group opposed to cannabis and was a bit unique in that it asked Michigan voters their opinions on an adult use legalization ballot measure a number of times after making various arguments for and against the idea. When the question was first asked before making any arguments, 48% of respondents were in favor of the legalization ballot measure, with 42% opposed. The polling company then made a few bullet point arguments in favor of legalization and asked respondents again about their thoughts on the ballot measure. In that round, the percentage of people opposed to legalization dropped from 42% to 36%, while the percentage in favor held steady at 48%. Here's where it gets kind of interesting, because then the polling company made some arguments against cannabis legalization and asked the respondents one last time what they thought about the adult use ballot measure. During this third and final round, after hearing arguments first in favor and then against legalization, support for the Michigan ballot measure actually ticked up 1 percentage point to 49%, and opposition settled back down to 38%. While that 1% change is within the poll's margin of error, it's still interesting to see how the numbers did change, even if they were subtle movements. This is a good one to read in full. One of the more frequent storylines popping up in California these days concerns the high tax rates being paid by legal marijuana companies and consumers, with the effective tax rate boosting over 40% in some parts of the state. Public radio station KAZU has a good story up about how marijuana cultivators in California's Monterey County are facing enormous tax bills as a result of tax codes put in place in 2016 before the passage of Proposition 64. After spending millions of dollars building out greenhouse space to grow cannabis, one cultivation company that used to grow flowers now has to pay around $600,000 a year in taxes just to Monterey County because of a county tax bill that hits cultivators at $15 per square foot annually. The situation is complicated further by the fact that tax receipts for legal cannabis in California for the year are lower than expected, which many attribute in part to the high taxes, making it harder for lawmakers to get away with cutting the tax rate. Another one I'd open up today. You know, when a chart pops up in the top headlines that it's either a slower news day or the chart is really, really good, and I'm happy to report that today it's the former. Marijuana Business Daily's chart of the week beautifully plots out the seasonality of Colorado's legal marijuana market. The Mile High State has the oldest adult use market in the country, giving 3 years of growth to chart out for your review, showing a seasonal fluctuation that rises in the fall and summer and dips in the colder months, with a noted uptick around the new year. There are natural seasonal rhythms to every retail industry, and it's super instructive to see how the behaviors of Colorado cannabis consumers are playing out in large numbers. While these same patterns aren't likely to be followed exactly in other markets, there are certainly broadly applicable lessons to be found in the numbers and accompanying background and context. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz it in headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, CardMax Payments, the trusted merchant processing broker that helps hard-to-place merchant industries find trustworthy, reliable payment processing services. CardMax Payments specializes in working in highly regulated industries like legal cannabis, so they already have a network of companies they turn to process your customers' financial transactions digitally. CardMax Payments crafts a unique solution for each of its merchant clients, making their shops and dispensaries run more smoothly and profitably. When you handle less of your business in all cash, you'll have more time to attend to the 1,000 other things tugging at your attention. Learn about how the pros at CardMax Payments can help free up more of your time and help your business handle its business better over at cardmaxpayments.com. Big thanks to everyone over at cardmaxpayments.com for the support. All right, time for the Blitz. IQ Magazine, a publication focusing on the world of professional events and concert promoters, has an interesting story up about the entrance of noted promoter and entrepreneur Michael Cohl into the world of cannabis business. Mr. Cohl is the former chairman of Live Nation and recently signed on as an investor with industry media company Civilized Worldwide, publishers of the Civilized website. Mr. Cohl will also bring his extensive body of expertise in events promotion to the table as a board member and advisor. Events promotion is a lucrative, if a bit crowded, vertical in legal marijuana, and Mr. Cohl's involvement with Civilized should be taken as a serious note of that company's intentions to operate in the space. Herb is reporting that there are moves being made in Thailand to legalize a limited amount of research on medical marijuana. Recently, the government approved for legislative deliberation a plan to allow researchers to study the medical use of marijuana, kratom, and opium. The bill will now go before the nation's National Legislative Assembly. Fans of the Netflix show The Trailer Park Boys can take heart in knowing that Ricky, Julian, and Bubbles are well on their way to achieving Freedom 45 as they commercialize their popular Trailer Park Boys brand to sell legal cannabis in the Canadian market. Green Rush Daily is a good story up detailing the partnership forged last year between the Trailer Park Boys and licensed medical marijuana company Organogram, which will grow and produce a line of specially branded Trailer Park Boys products, an instructive story with lessons for other markets and countries. Germany is dealing with its own complicated implementation of more progressive legal cannabis laws, with High Times covering the surge in interest in that nation's new medical marijuana programs and the troubles that the boosted medical marijuana user ranks are having on its insurance system, which is paying out way more in covered costs than anticipated. Germany's health insurance program covers the entirety of patients' cannabis costs, which can reportedly range from $350 up to $2,600. Marijuana Business Daily has a few more details up about the expansion plans of Colorado-based marijuana sales data analytics firm BDS Analytics in the wake of their recently closed Series A fundraising round of $3.5 million, which it will use to expand the reach of their Green Edge software platform into more adult use markets nationally. BDS will also increase their headcount from around 30 employees up to 40. North Dakota just announced the pick of Pennsylvania-based cannabis testing company Keystone State Testing to be an officially sanctioned testing company for its soon-to-launch medical marijuana program. North Dakota voters approved a medical marijuana ballot measure in 2016, and patients should be able to get their first batches of medicine later this year. Wrapping up our day of cannabis news is a story in Canada's CTV News that uses the state of Oregon in a cautionary tale about the dangers of flooding a legal cannabis market with too much supply. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our Twitter account at mjtodaydaily and visit our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. What's big and gray and protects you from the rain? An umbrellafant. Thanks to our sponsor, CardMax Payments, and to all of our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.